go back now to our live coverage in Washington. You are looking at the hearse that carries the former president, Jimmy Carter, as it is about to be transferred to the horse-drawn caisson. And my colleague, special report anchor and executive editor Bret Baier, joins me for our coverage of this significant moment in front of the Naval Museum. Bret, welcome to you, the Naval Memorial, I should say. Good to have you with us. Your thoughts as we pick up the coverage of this historic event that is unfolding right now.
Yeah, Martha, good afternoon. This is the pomp and circumstance of a state funeral. And, President Carter, serving from 1977 to 1981, was someone who really was not about the grandeur of the office. In fact, he initially forbid or banned the playing of Hail to the Chief when he was president, because he wanted to come in with kind of the working man's attitude to demonstrate humility, to kind of restore faith in government after Vietnam and Watergate, and he wanted to be a man of the people. Eventually, over the years, he came to the case that they came up with this funeral plan, and one of the stops is here at the Navy Memorial, meant to take note of his service in the Navy as a submariner. He was, as you mentioned earlier, the only president in history to graduate from the U.S. Naval Academy. His father was in the Army. His uncle, who he really liked, inspired him, was in the Navy. Originally, as a submariner, Jimmy Carter planned to serve a full career in the Navy, and then he was thinking about retiring to Hawaii or maybe Annapolis, where the U.S. Naval Academy is. But his career ended in 1953 because his family's peanut business was really struggling. And after his dad's death, he went back to Georgia to take care of that.
I mean, it's almost It's a Wonderful Life type story. He had dreams of living in Hawaii, as you say, Bret, and the family business brought him back home. He had to pick up after his father's death and continue there. And there's an interesting vignette I read about Thanksgiving. We're looking at members of the family as they gather for the transfer from, there's Amy Carter, his youngest child, who many of us remember as this little girl in the White House. She had 3 older siblings. But there's a funny story, Bret, about Thanksgiving and in Georgia with the family, and then Governor Carter saying, I have an announcement to make to the family. And he said, I'm going to run for president. And someone said, of what? And it goes on to say everybody kept shuffling and putting their plates together. Apparently, at that moment, they weren't taking him very seriously, but boy, he was taking it very seriously. And he ended up winning all the primaries in the primary season and becoming president of the United States, Bret.
There was this hunger, if you think about that time in our history, for this humility, for this honor of the office in the wake of what we saw in Watergate. And that's really what catapulted Carter as, a Baptist Sunday school teacher, a peanut farmer, the governor of Georgia. He served in the state Senate down there in Georgia. But when he came to office, he really wanted to be bare bones. And as I said, the Hail to the Chief thing, but he eliminated the trumpet welcoming that Richard Nixon liked when he walked in the room. He actually, even as a Navy guy, sold the presidential yacht, the Sequoia. There was a presidential yacht at one time. And he said, we don't want that. So he sold it off. Every time he went on Air Force One, he carried his own luggage. He wanted to make sure that was the image that was seen by the American people as his body, obviously, making the transfer here.
All right, let's watch.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.